Hello, my name is Dr. Martin Doom Broom. Well, according to Riff Klitcher, anyway, of the band Slam. I thought I'd mention that in 2 days' time, Sounds in the Key of Broom will be released on 150 different platforms across the world. But this is my opportunity to tell you exactly what Sounds in the Key of Broom actually is about. So I thought I'd start with the fact that Riff has been a friend for a very, very long time. And this collaboration was probably not even thought of just a year ago. I'd always wanted to do and sing songs. I wrote a song, I Am the Phoenix of the Moment, for a charity called Rainbow Trust, who look after children with cancer. And Riff did the music for it. I'm eternally grateful for, the help that he's given me over the years, the encouragement, the book writing, the fact that I draw. People say to me, you can put your hands on anything, Mark, but ultimately, what is it you like doing the most? I suppose when I was younger, I really wanted to be a singer. Above all else, all I ever wanted to do was sing. I sang for the school choir, basically put, learned some parts of what I did, but then I left school at a very early age. So a different course happened. I started working and I continued working right the way up until 2010 after a serious road traffic accident. I now have disabilities. I wear hearing aids. I have osteoarthritis of the knees. I also have asthma, spondylosis of the back. Basically, I'm falling apart. I need to wear glasses for driving and reading. But there was one thing I'd never really finished, and that was being given the chance to sing. Yeah, I went to university late in life. Didn't have any qualifications when I left school. Passed my A-levels with distinction, straight A's. Passed a Bachelor of Honours degree. Recently I passed a Master of Arts degree. You're probably wondering why all of this counts to anything that happened to me during those years. So I thought I'd mention one thing and one thing only. And that is this. I went to prison for drug importation. And this is where the sounds of the key in the Key of Broom comes from. It's a collaboration of two minds. I'm bitterly sorry for what I did, back then in 1994. And I probably could have helped induce some of this pain and sorrow on the person that the sounds of in the Key of Broom is all about. It's about drug addiction. Now, Sailing Away, the first song, is probably the one song I got into so deep that I realized then that what you've done is you've taken someone's life away from them indirectly. But I'm not going to harp on that. I've changed my ways, and I believe everyone else can too as well. So I decided, fair enough, I'd give this my all. So Sailing Away basically is about being taken away in the moment of drugs, the addiction, how it encapsulates your life, how it takes over your body, how it takes over everything that you sing and do. And then you have who are you? This way you sit down and you look at yourself and you say, who am I? Who am I really? Who are my friends? Where do I fit in society? Who am I? Am I anyone? Am I me? Then there's New World Chaos. This is like coming out of a drug addiction. When you come out, you know, the world's changed. Some people could have been in it for 20, 30 years, and then suddenly they give up. Then what they do is they then turn around and say to you, why has the world changed so much? It's because under the influence of drugs, basically these people have been able to turn around and totally obliterate everything that was happening around them. So it's like a new world order. You started living once more. If you want, which is track 4 on the CD, is if you want to stay. It's the loyalty. It's those people that have always been there. They've never, you know, they've always followed everything you do. They've never said to you once, we don't like you no more. Think of families who stuck by someone who's had a drug addiction. It must be extremely hard for them to do such things. So basically put, when you look at it, it's just, you know, if you want to stay. Honestly, if you want to stay in my life, you have to realize, you really have to realize, you have to stop what you are doing. You cannot continue doing what you're doing if you want me to remain with you. Those families that fight it through and through, to me, have the biggest respect ever. It's hard to admit that some people have these problems, but to turn around and say, you are willing to help that person overcome their fears and to remain with you. And then comes the last track. The last track, I was given carte blanche to do what I want with. So Riff said to me, he said, you know, for those once forgotten. And I thought, okay. So in 5 minutes flat, I wrote the words for those once forgotten. That's a fact. And in between, I wanted to put in a choir, you know, of people. Like, when you look back and you go to yourself, okay, fair enough. What have I done? What have I achieved? And then you look at yourself and you go, do you know what? Do you know what really would make the difference? He says every single person out there went, do you know what? I wish I could free me from anything that I've done. Free me from everything that I've ever done. But that's not going to happen, obviously, because basically we are inept. And basically we all sin no matter what. And it doesn't make any difference. You can't get away from that. That's a stone cold fact. So I thought, well, the first part, I put in free me. Free me is more or less about freeing yourself from ever wanting to go back to doing what you were doing before. It's probably the hardest struggle in the world to give up drugs, to give up drinking, to give up smoking. It's probably the hardest thing, but everyone wishes to free themselves from it. So halfway through the song, I've changed it. Look at me now. Why look at me now? Well, look at me. I mean, look at me. Look at what I've done. If someone had said to me in 1994, after I went to prison for drug importation, that I would be sitting here today in 2019 on the verge of having an album of songs that I sang released, I'd have probably said, you're really joking, mate. You know, you seriously need to go back to the Gaga, you know, house, because you really have lost it. But that's what happened. My life changed. I never changed myself. I've never changed myself. I've always been me. I've always believed that you have to be yourself, no matter what, before you can help anyone else. So look at me now is a way of saying, look, this is what I've achieved since I went to prison. And this is what people can achieve once they leave drugs alone. So yes, I'm extremely excited about the 31st of December release. It's absolutely incredible. I never ever thought I would ever see myself doing anything like this. But this is only the beginning. There are more songs I want to sing now. Songs that I've written myself. Songs about world problems. Songs about differences in life. But if there's one thing I can always say, is that if it wasn't for Riff Klitschard of Slam, this wouldn't happen. And I would never have been given an opportunity. I'd always wanted to. I may have disabilities, but I'll tell you one thing. I will overcome them all. Thanks for listening.